32 Inning Podcast. Sports analysis.
Interviews.
Entertainment reviews.
And everything in between.
Yo, what's that word? 32 Inning Podcast, episode 88. How you doing tonight, my boy?
I'm good, chilling.
What's up? Happy to be with y'all again. We had a little hiatus, but everything's all good. We're going to start off how we do every episode with our Reddit warm-up. Interesting question tonight, simple question, but low-key a little deep. And y'all feel free to give y'all opinion in the comments below. So, would you rather be a bird or a fish, my boy, if you had the choice?
Oh man, bro. That's hard, bro. I feel like fish are more dumb than birds, though. Because ain't no way I'm finna just keep getting hooked by the same hook and bait all my life. Probably be a bird. I'm able to fly, it's tough. I just think being a fish, bro, you gotta deal with more predators in the water, I think, as like a fish.
That's real.
Because as a bird, you got some predators, bro, but most predators you can get away from. As a fish, you ain't really getting away from like a shark or like a killer whale, a dolphin, stuff like that. I'm trying to live a good long life.
Yeah.
And also, fish swim in water that gets pooped and peed in by animals.
Yeah.
I ain't no dirty ass motherfucker, so yeah, I'll definitely I'll be a bird.
I feel you. So, I said this was simple, but honestly, when I saw this question, I actually thought about it for like 5-10 minutes straight. Like, I wasn't saying nothing. And, because at first I was like, man, a fish, you kind of got more area to, like, discover and be a part of and things of that nature. But then I thought exactly what you said. Like, the predators is like fish, you damn near, you closer to the bottom of the food chain than you is the top of the food chain, theoretically, for all we know. So it's like, I'm like, damn, like, I don't know if I want to have to deal with all that. Plus, not to nerd out or anything, but you can't go to like every area of the ocean. Like, anybody that know if you've been like a diver before or anything like that, you just can't jump in the ocean and then freely swim to the bottom and swim back up. Like, it's pressurized zones of the ocean and stuff like that. That's how, them billionaires had passed away, I think last year or the year before that, because
Submarine.
Yeah, because of the pressure inside of the module caused the shit to not combust, but when it caves in on itself, that's because the atmospheric pressure. I digress. So I chose the bird just because you can get away from your predators. You're much more free. You can travel really where you want to travel. And flying is very peaceful. Anytime I've been on a plane and I look out the window, like, you looking at Earth from a different vantage point. Like, it's a very cool experience for people that never flew before. I know black people, we kind of allergic to flying, kind of scared of it, but fly and look out the window and just see the Earth from a different vantage point. It's a cool experience. But for that reason, I'll pick a bird, not a chicken, not like I ain't trying to get hold like being a coop or nothing like that, but like a fly bird.
Hawk.
Yeah, a hawk or an owl or something like that.
Chicken, you finna be messed up.
For real. But getting into the episode today, our last two topics are kind of similar, so we'll go this route first with the NFL. Congratulations to the Eagles for winning the Super Bowl. I believe we both picked the Eagles to win the Super Bowl. That was pretty much an ass whooping of a game. Can't say we saw that coming. At least speak for myself. Can't say I saw that coming. But I did expect the Eagles to win, and it was what it was. But with that, the NFL has moved on to the off season and more so to the draft at the point we're at now. And we got some exciting athletes that's coming to compete at the NFL Combine we're going to give y'all our top three, starting off with not in numerical order, but just our top three. So, who's the first guy you got, Khalil?
It's just and it's just who we excited to see in the combine, right?
For sure.
Let me. Uh, First one, it was just because I already knew he was a fast guy, but now since he's talking that he's gonna break the record, Isaiah Bond, just for that reason, so he's fast. He played at Alabama and then Texas this past year. He's a decent receiver. I mean, he plays in the SEC. He put up decent numbers. I believe he can be a decent receiver in the NFL. He adds that deep ball threat. I just want to see how he performs in this combine, especially after saying he's going to break. Pretty much, it wasn't his former teammate, but they both from the same college now.
Yeah. Who could be like a player comparison? Do you think for him? I have somebody in mind, but I want to see what you think off the hook.
Really, he's just more of like a speed threat. I want to say. Let me.
My comparison would have been Hollywood.
That's what I was gonna get to. Kind of just like a Hollywood Brown type of player.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say his hand suspect or anything. I don't really know him for having drops or anything. But with that amount of speed, it seemed like maybe he was underutilized and he was never truly like the number one receiver at any school he was at. So I don't have concerns about him, but I think he got a chance to be like better in the pros than he was in college, and he was pretty decent in college. I think that's a good dude right there. I'll go with Azarie Thomas from Florida State. Had to get one of my Noel guys on here. I think he has a chance to be the second cornerback off the board behind Will Johnson. We got to see how Will Johnson medicals test out. I don't expect him to break any combine records for speed or anything. I do expect him to run between 4.4, 4.5, but I'm more interested to see what his measurements are like as far as length, arm length, hand size at cornerback, and his quick twitch, like how his hips are and things of that nature. He was a 2-year starter, got a lot of playing time as a freshman for the Noles. So I'm interested just to see how he tests, because I don't think he came into the season outside of the Florida State fan base expected to potentially go in the first round. So I'm excited to see what he do at the combine. I expect him to put on for sure.
For sure. My next one is I'm not going with any like big names on these. Cam Scatterbo. It's not well. I read today. He's not really doing much in the combine. It's more going to be for the pro day for Arizona State. I do want to see what his 40 time is. I think like that's the big question among all scouts and teams. But he's just a tank, and seeing what he did, pretty much without him, Arizona State does nothing in them playoffs or even get to the playoffs. I don't think. He's a tank pretty much. He's small, but he's a tank. He's proven that he's hard to get down, or he can't really tackle him, can't one-man tackle him. He can catch the ball. He's very versatile on the offense. He played quarterback for Arizona State the year before this year at some points in the season. He punted for them. So he's a real utility player. I want to see how that plays out, where he gets selected in the draft. And then I can kind of see him, being kind of going the same direction as like a James Conner type of player. Running back somewhere along there.
He reminds me of? He reminds me of that running back that came out of Baltimore that played for Michigan, winning the draft last year, Blake Corum.
Oh,
he reminds me of Blake Corum a lot, with his rushing style. Let me see. My second player was Tyler Warren, tight end from Penn State. Had over 200 yards receiving against USC. Was really the catalyst in getting that win over USC. Super versatile. Lined up in line, outside, in the backfield as an H-back. I really want to see how he does when he was excellent in all those positions, and I think he was actually a master of all positions. But I want to see when he's doing the same thing as everybody else, how his numbers test out. Because from what we've seen on film and what we've seen out of Penn State this year, to be honest, I thought he was the best player on the offensive side of the ball. Um, and I just want to see if he has the potential based on those athletic testing numbers to be one of the top tight ends in the NFL. I think lately tight ends have adjusted quicker to the NFL game than what they used to be.
Yeah.
It used to be like a probably 2 years position before you really got that breakout. But now, you see guys coming in and doing pretty well from the jump. So I want to see if he has that type of athletic ability.
My next one is a guy the Giants do right. I hope some way they can get him. Is Jackson Dart, senior coming out of Ole Miss. With just he's an older guy. He's been established in the college level. Showed that he can win games. He has great arm strength. I'm really wanting to see how his accuracy is during these drills. Just because I know there's sometimes he has a little bit of issues with that. I also want to see what his 40 time is because I know he's not the fastest quarterback, but I also do believe he has like that sneaky speed per se. Like I said, accuracy is a big thing and why I'm excited. And if he can show out in the combine, I'm be more than happy if the disaster of the New York Giants pick him up. Like I said, he don't need to start this year. Get him a veteran that he can work behind, all that good stuff.
I feel that. I actually want to see him too. If he's been in a mock to my team, to the Jets, a lot.
He keeps rising in the rankings, so and that's before the combine. That's another reason why
and plus I don't know if Cam is throwing at the Cam Ward is throwing at the combine. I know Shador.
I don't think he is.
So he got a chance to really make a big jump here.
He might be the most polished quarterback in the draft. If I'm thinking.
Probably. I would probably put him up there. I think him and Shador. I think Shador is very polished too. I think that's the best thing about Shador game, to be honest. 'Cause I don't think Shador has spectacular arm strength or the greatest pocket presence. But as far as the mechanics of a quarterback, you could tell that him and Brady was really close. He's really serious about his mechanics every time he throw that ball. So.
Nah, boy, definitely don't got pocket presence. That man gets sacked like 70 times every game. God damn, bro.
For real. But we'll see. Can't get hit 70 times in the pros. He ain't gonna last long. My third guy is Kelvin Banks. He played tackle at Texas. Was a 5-star recruit coming in. I'm always interested in seeing linemen, D linemen, O linemen, who could potentially run. I don't think he'll run this fast, but sub 5 in a 40. I don't think he'll be that fast, but I think he's going to be a monster on the bench press and the explosive skills. And I also want to see his length as well to see if they're going to line him up more of a guard or a tackle in the NFL. He played tackle at Texas, but we know that the NFL values length outside at the tackle positions. And it said that he's about 6'4", 320 pounds, I believe. Now, we have seen guys play tackle that were projected to play guard and do extremely well, like Rashawn Slater for the Los Angeles Chargers and things of that nature. So we'll just have to see. And Elijah Vera Tucker, my guy from the Jets. But let us know who y'all excited to see about at the combine. If we could see any record breakers this year on the bench press and the shuttle and the long jump and the 40-yard dash, things of that nature. And we'll keep it moving on to some NBA topics tonight. We're gonna talk some big trades, and we're gonna talk our own personal power rankings. Looking at mine, I tell y'all right now, I fucked up on one of them. But so we can start off with you. Who you got at number? Let's start off at number 5.
For sure.
Let's start off with
it up. And my power rankings are pretty much based off of trade deadline and how they've been looking since the trade deadline.
Mine as well.
So, well, my first one, I want to say, what is it? I have the Lakers at number 5. Just with the addition of Luka, I think there's really nothing that's holding them back offensively. It's more just on the defensive end, and they've been winning games. I think in their last 19, they're like 15-4 or something like that. LeBron's playing at a high level again. Luka and LeBron, I don't know how many full court assist passes I've seen them throw to each other. And it just helps when you have another playmaker that can make just as difficult shots as you. I've seen it's opened up a lot for Austin Reeves as well. He's playing at a very high level. Jackson Hayes is stepping it up over on the end of being a center. And then their benches really starting to contribute more. They have a decent bench, and it's starting to kind of show. I see that they can probably get a little higher up in seeding.
For sure. I'm also going to talk about the Lakers, but not at this early in the session. I went with the Detroit Pistons. The reason I said fuck was because I should have had the Warriors here, in all honesty. They're both playing really well since the All-Star break. But speaking on the Detroit Pistons, Cade Cunningham has made a big leap. I believe Cade was, I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure. I believe Cade was an All-Star this year.
Yes, he was.
If he was an All-Star, which I think he was an All-Star.
No, he was.
Okay, he was an All-Star. I think he has a chance to also be All-NBA this year. Before they got the brakes beat off them by the Denver Nuggets, they were on an 8-game winning streak. That was mostly due to Cade being dominant, averaging close to 30 points a game over the last 10 games. Has Detroit firmly in the playoffs, not the play-in, the playoffs. When we know last year they were literally one of the worst teams in NBA history, almost clinched an infamous record of the most losses all time in a row, and now they're in the playoffs the very next year. I think that you got to get a lot of credit to that coaching staff, but also this huge leap we're seeing from Cade and finally getting healthy. And I think you also got to give it to, they added some veterans to that team like Malik Beasley, Tobias Harris, some veterans, but the young guys are also stepping up around them. And I think the young teams are really doing their thing right now. That's what happens when you have a shit ton of bad seasons. You get high draft picks, and you allow those players to develop under good coaching staff. So I think we're finally seeing that with the Detroit Pistons.
I think they're in the play-in right now.
Playoffs.
They're in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think they're number 6.
Oh, shit. Hey. So the East ain't like the West, so.
Yeah.
The 3rd seed in the East would be like the 5th, 6th seed in the West.
Yeah, I still think the champ come out of the West. Come out the East, though.
Oh?
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about
Yeah.
it.
My next team that I have here is going to be, where is it at? I want to say the Warriors, coming off of the trade deadline. I think they're on a win streak. They haven't lost since acquiring Jimmy Butler, or since he's been playing with them, I think. Or if they lost one time. Jimmy Butler's a drama queen. People say, he stubborn, all that type of stuff, but wherever he goes, it translates to winning, as you can see. He got Draymond Green playing out of his mind. And then he takes a load off of Steph, and we see this is the Steph Curry that we've been used to seeing for years that we're finally starting to see again. They've won up their rankings went up defensively. Jimmy Butler's smart on defense, on offense. He knows what to do to get guys open in prime position. He's an elite playmaker still. He's one of those dudes that you can call a free throw merchant. But it's just the toughness that he's bringing there with him and Draymond Green, and it's just starting to translate with the Warriors, and they're one of the hottest teams right now.
Yeah, as we saw yesterday, Steph Curry dropped 56 points, 12 of 19 shooting from threes. That's extremely demoralizing. First of all, that a guy is willing to take 19 threes and he make 12. Man, that make you wanna go pop the trunk on that boy. But I'm
Right.
just fucking around, man. You know, I don't want no violence in the NBA, a la Gilbert Arenas. But I do agree with you. The Warriors is playing five man. They only lost one game, and Jimmy does have that playmaking. But I did read an article that, like how you said, drama queen, which I agree. Like I did read an article that he's doing everything he can to ingratiate himself with the team and things of that nature, and the culture they got going on there, staying late for practice shoot arounds and things of that nature. So I think that's only going to help as they approach the playoffs. My fourth team would be the Lakers, who are 36-21. Um, Lakers have been balling, like you mentioned, in their last 20 games. They're 16-4. Got a big game tonight against the Clippers.
Yes, they do.
We know Luca has a history with the Clippers. Um, sending them boys home and things of that nature, outplaying Kawhi and PG. Um, or did he? I don't know if he. But anyway, so um, he has a history with them, so I'm excited to see what comes from tonight with James Harden on the team as well. It's another big game. Lakers got an extremely difficult schedule right now over the next 6 or 7 games, but they've been playing out of their minds since around or a little bit before the trade deadline. They actually have the number one defense in the NBA, a very switch-heavy defense. This is before they lost Anthony Davis, because you're not just funneling it to one guy. You have to stop teams at the point of attack, and I think the Lakers have done an excellent job of doing that. LeBron has been a monster, especially on the defensive end.
Yeah, he has
He's been out, and I'm campaigning right now for LeBron to make All NBA first team. Um, there's no reason, in my opinion, with his counting, not just because he's 40 and he's doing this, but if you look at his numbers and his impact, he's playing like an All NBA first team performer, maybe even on the defensive end as well. Um, so shout out LA, and I put y'all on my ticket tonight to get this dub. Y'all ain't the favorites, but I need us to come out and get this dub.
Uh, Third, I got Celtics. They're a great team. We know what they can do. It's just them guys have been really inconsistent as of late. Just take tonight for instance. They were up 23-5, 22-5, and wound up letting the Cavs come back and win this game.
Ah,
Um,
parlay for me.
yeah,
But yeah, go ahead.
yeah, they let the Cavs come back and win this game. And a big part of it, I think, is just the inconsistency issues that they have on defense. Because their offense is elite, one of the best three-point shooters in the league, or three-point shooting team in the league. They shoot they're one of the teams that shoot the most threes and they make the most threes. They have Drew Holiday, Derek White, Al Horford, and Porzingis on the defensive end, which I don't see why they're struggling so much. But a big part too is Jason Tatum has his moments where I kind of feel like he disappears and he lets the other guys try to get into the groove of the game, which, you're the defending champions. You're going to get everybody's best game most of the time. You're that guy, if that's your team, just like how people get on LeBron for it, he needs to be taking that final shot. He needs to be involved in everything in the clutch minutes. He needs to step up, play the best defense that he can, grab rebounds, whatever it is, to make sure and assure that they get the victory. And sometimes it happens, sometimes it don't right now. And just with their inconsistency, that's why they dropped from 2 to 3 for me, at least.
Yeah, we actually had the same number 3, and I don't think I could really articulate that any better than what you just did. That was a fire-ass analysis. They messed up my parlay tonight, so that sucks. But I think right now the Celtics are trying to get through the regular season and get to the postseason, because we know what they do in the postseason. They trying to stay healthy. That's no excuse. They playing well, but they have been inconsistent. When I said I still think the champs come out the East, I was referring to the Celtics. I still think the Celtics right now, they're number 3 in my power rankings, but I still would place them number 1, who I would think is going to win the NBA title. I still think they're gonna repeat as NBA champions. Even though the Cavs, I think, might have got the best of them. If they met 3 times this year, I think the
I think
Cavs
the
might have.
Cavs won all three. If I'm being honest,
Ooh,
I
well,
think I have to look into it. I know the Cavs at least took two of them.
yeah, they at least took two. They at least took two. And in the regular season, if you give a team, that type of confidence playing against you, they're gonna have that confidence in the playoffs. So we got to see how it's gonna play out this year. Um, but my boy articulated it super well. I had the Celtics at number 3 as well. Who'd you have for number 2?
Um, just because I can't go against the team that's shown that they've been the best team in the league so far, or thus far. What I feel like would be somewhat less to what the other team has. I got the Thunder at number 2. Um, they got who I feel like should be MVP of the league on their team. Um, they have all their pieces fit together so well. They just got Chet back, even though he did get injured again today, left the game. See what happens with that. Um, but they're one of the best defensive teams in the league as well. I've seen them time and time shut down the teams, every or most teams' best players, between Lou Dort and Jalen Williams taking on that challenge defensively. And then when you have somebody like Shea on your team offensively that's unselfish, but can go get you a bucket when you need it, that helps a lot. You got Alex Caruso coming off the bench, another defensive specialist. Isaiah Hardenstein, he came off the bench tonight. He usually starts. He racks up assists. He's a good offensive rebounder. Thunder are a great offensive rebounding team in general, as well as a great three-point shooting team. They're very hard to beat when they're on. My only thing is when they're often struggling or when Shea's struggling, they struggle as well. So they just got to kind of find a way to get past. If Shea's having a bad game, other people are just going to have to step up, which they do tend to do a decent job with. But especially come playoffs, I think, playoffs is a different breed. Everybody plays for real and tries hard. So.
I actually had the Thunder at number 2 as well. My guy just had another fantastic breakdown of the OKC Thunder. I think Shea's obviously playing at an MVP level this year. I know on most people's MVP ladder, he's currently number 1 and things of that nature. I still would have the Joker, me personally. I just think the Joker he's just incredible. Like everything he do on the basketball court is insane. He's the only reason the Nuggets get wins, in my personal opinion.
For real, he is.
And this not to say the Thunder would be fine without Shea. He's the engine that pushes them. They're awesome on the defensive end. They do a great job on capitalizing on opponents' turnovers. To me, that's a top 5 aspect of their teams. How they capitalize on forcing turnovers and then scoring off those turnovers. And we know that Shea is going to get to the free throw line. It's going to happen.
Free throw merchant.
Free throw merchant.
Yeah.
So he gonna get to the line. Jalen Williams made a leap this year into an all-star caliber player. I think if Chet would have been healthy this year, he would have had a chance to make the all-star team as well. So they got the talent. Obviously, you got years of great draft picks. That's gonna happen. And when you make smart decisions, like trading for Shea, for Paul George way back in the day, and we see, hey, Paul George, happy retirement off these podcast streets, brother. Hopefully,
Happy retirement from the league soon.
Hopefully, bro can get healthy. I know Embiid was announced out for the rest of the year this year. Hopefully, he get back.
That was a dumpster fire. That team a dumpster fire.
Yeah, they pretty ass. But I had OKC second too. Who you got as your number 1 team in the power ranking?
I'm pretty sure I think we both have the same team.
Yeah.
But the Cleveland Cavaliers, they've been the best team throughout the whole year. They go on win streaks and then they'll lose a game, go on win streaks and lose a game. Stuff of that matter. I don't really see them struggling with most teams, especially over on the Eastern Conference side. I really feel like there's probably only one match for them at this point. Donovan Mitchell, it looks like he's kind of taking a step back kind of scoring wise, a little bit. But you have Darius Garland, who had an All-Star year. Evan Mobley's had an All-Star year. Jared Allen being there as their defensive anchor. They're long and lengthy on defense. And then just their bench. Ty Jerome might be one of the, or he is one of the best bench scorers in the league. And that's surprising because I'm pretty sure nobody had that coming out of the or towards the beginning of the season. They picked up DeAndre Hunter, a nice 3-and-D piece. I believe he's averaging around like 17 points a game off the bench for them. So, they're just a great team all around, and they're a tough matchup for anybody, honestly, because any given one of them people can go off.
Yeah. Honestly, I loved the Cavs last year. They ended up firing their coach because I believe they saw something in practice to where they thought they had a higher ceiling. So they went and hired Kenny Atkinson. I think he's the runaway NBA Coach of the Year this year.
Got to be.
They play great on the defensive end, great on the offensive end. Another win against the Celtics tonight. And frankly, they've been dominant majority of the year. If they don't have number one point differential, it's probably OKC, but I know they're at least top 3 in point differential. I believe they're the only team in the NBA that hasn't dropped back-to-back games, I want to say. Cleveland is balling right now. This is the first time they've been, pre-Bron, they had some times with Mark Price and I forgot my boy who played center back in the day. I got his face right there. I can't remember his name. But they had a couple Craig Elo and the guys. They had, they had a couple squads, but post Bron, this is the best team that they had, and they really doing their thing. So shout out to the coaching staff. Shout out to Evan Mobley when he got picked in the draft. I knew he was going to be a superstar caliber player. I think he's been overlooked throughout his career. You see a lot of him. You can tell he works hard in the summertime. You see in the summertime, he really expands his game. And actually, I think that the player that's projected to go number 1 in this draft, I would say Evan Mobley would be a great pro comparison for him and Cooper Flagg. I see a lot of similarities in their game. So that's not surprising. Donovan Mitchell, he's a player capable of getting you 70. He scored 70 before in an NBA game, 70 points. They had a tough out last year against the Orlando Magic. I expect when the playoffs come around, if they match up again, I think it'll be another competitive series. But the Cavs, they're playing the best, in my opinion, this NBA season, and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, especially picking up DeAndre Hunter at the deadline, since we're keeping about deadline.
Yeah, one of the few elite teams that actually got better during the deadline.
For sure. I'll say this before we get out of here. I want to ask you this before we get out of here, I should say, and I want to call to action. Y'all subscribe to the podcast. Our subscribers have been going on, up. Y'all subscribe to the podcast, comment on the videos, tell us what y'all like. Give us y'all opinions. We're going to respond to y'all. We'll respond to y'all not just on YouTube, but all our social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere that we post, y'all get in touch with us. But I wanted to ask my guy this, and this is a question for the audience as well. Who's been a surprising team for you in the NBA this year? Could be good or bad.
I'm not going to say 76ers because that's obvious. But even though they're not like a top tier team right now, the Raptors, just the pieces they have, and because I bet on NBA, so I watch games and everything. Dude, the Raptors are in a lot of these games that they're losing, like against the Celtics, against like the bigger name teams. I feel like they're just missing. Well, they got Brandon Ingram, so he's probably done for the season. Still want to see how they mix with him. If they can get one more, mini superstar to that team, especially competing in the East, I can see them making a run for the playoffs next season. They have young talent in R.J. Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, Scotty Barnes. They have a pretty good big in Jacob Poeltl. I wasn't familiar with his game until this year. I wasn't, but he can hoop for a big man that I didn't know about. He can hoop. But yeah, they definitely be a surprise team for me.
Jacob Porter is like the Super Saiyan 2 version of Steven Adams at this point.
Yeah, and Steven Adams was an elite
Yeah,
player back with his OKC days. He
yeah,
was an elite big.
for sure. Um, I would say a surprise team for me, just to ask myself this question in a bad way, is the Phoenix Suns. I believe the Phoenix Suns picked up, they on their way to a thrashing of the team they played tonight, which I believe was the Blazers, I believe.
They're playing the Pelicans.
Yeah, another sorry team. But the Suns, I think that trade deadline probably affected them the most out of any team, and they're a team that I believe didn't make a trade. Well, they got Joseph Nurkic up out of there at the trade deadline, but other than that, it seemed like every star or damn near every player on their team was up for grabs, including KD. So
Yeah.
I believe KD just explained to Draymond Green on the podcast. I haven't got a chance to watch it, but of course y'all go check that out for his explanation for why he didn't want to go back to the Warriors and things of that nature. I mean, ultimately, I think it's going to work out for the Warriors. They're looking fantastic right now. Of course, having KD would have been wow. It would have been crazy, but Phoenix is definitely a surprise team for me. I expect KD to probably be up out of there this summer, and the KD.
I think a lot of that, yeah. I think a lot of that falls on the coach, Mike Budenholzer. He's a terrible coach. He's terrible. He's terrible, bro. There was just and I'm not just saying this because I'm a bettor and I wanted up betting on Nick Richards, but for your big man to have 7 rebounds in the first quarter of the game and not see the floor anymore, your starting center not see the floor for the rest of the game, for what reason?
They went small.
I don't know what the hell they did.
You just noticed.
I just know that man's rebounds was at like 8 or 9, and that shit stayed at 7.
Yeah.
And I looked at his minutes; it was 9 minutes, and then his rotation is just, the way he rotates is terrible. I seen something on the internet today. I believe it was like he had a meeting with Devin Booker, and he wanted Devin Booker to be less vocal.
Yeah.
So
I think any coach, after you win a championship and you get fired, they pretty much telling you that you're washed. Same thing happened with Frank Vogel. Won a championship, got fired. Budenholzer won a championship, got fired. Doc Rivers, he didn't have a lot of chances since then. He definitely been riding on that '08 title. But
that man washed too.
Yeah, he washed.
Like his voice, washed.
But we're gonna have to see how it play out, man. But it's been a good episode. Dope episode. Good to have my boy back. Good to
be back.
For sure. Good to speak with y'all again. Again, y'all subscribe to the channel. Get in tune with everything we got going on. Got a lot of stuff that's finna be pumped out, paused in the future, and we gonna double it up. This is gonna drop pretty soon, and we gonna be right back in y'all faces, right back at y'all. So appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir, for sure.